welcome and thank you for joining our Music for Global Change broadcast with founder and music ambassador Skyler Jett and presenter Tom Bryant and Ryan Shewchuk. And our special guest today is Bonga Kwana. Okay, welcome to the show, Bonga Kwana. Affectionately known as Stargale, you are a self-made, multifaceted, creative firecracker. Singer, songwriter, creative director and entrepreneur, model, DJ, based in Cape Town. You've got a bid to bring awareness to queer lives, and also you're the founder and creative director of Rambling of a Black Queer Woman, a creative platform for queer people to express themselves through art. So there's lots more to discuss with you. So welcome to the show, and please tell us more.
Yeah, thank you for having me. That's quite lengthy even for myself. My name is Bonga Kwana. I am a whole lot of things. I do a whole lot of things. I'm based in South Africa, between Johannesburg and Cape Town. I'm an activist for queer people. I'm an advocate for people who look like me, who are black, women, and queer. And I've kind of sought to put out that, to change the narrative essentially on how people look at our lives as queer people, especially people in Africa. Yeah, so I've set out on a mission to change that narrative through my music, through the platform, Ramblings of a Black Queer Woman, through organizing people to come together and be in one space, not just for music and for art, but also for actual progressive conversations that make an impact in our community. So yeah, I'm Bonga and this is what I do.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we love you for doing that. Thank you. We need more of that, right?
Agreed.
We need more of that right there in the world. You can't do anything alone. You know, once you figure that out, you understand. We're not supposed to do anything alone. Everybody has a purpose. And to find your path, then you put the purpose on it, right? And then you off and run it. Well, thank you for what you're doing. Tell me something about your music.
All right, so my music is, I guess I could say I write a whole lot of songs for queer people and a whole lot of love songs for gay people, because those are not the kinds of songs that we hear on the radio every single day. So I write from an honest place, from the place of who I am as a person, as a black queer person in South Africa, but also write from a perspective of where I'd like to see the world be and look like when I'm no longer here.
So let me say, Music for Global Change is about exactly what you're talking about as well, right? It's freedom of self-expression. Freedom of self-expression, whoever you are. You know, when you got to put a name in front of person, I'm a gay person. Well, leave the gay out. It's a person. Right? And that's the part we have to get over from. Now, you know, I'm from the Bay Area. That's the biggest gay capital in the United States, right? In San Francisco and stuff like that. So it was all about liberation all the time. I mean, in that area, women's liberation started in Berkeley. Women's liberation started in Berkeley, right? And so stop putting a name on somebody before you call them a person. Mm-hmm. That's a person, no matter who they are. They all got feelings. They all want to be seen and they all want to be heard. We're people.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
Bonga, I wanted to know a little bit more about Ramblings of a Black Queer Woman. I was doing a little bit of reading and I just wanted to understand, it's a creative platform, but what actually is entailed in that? I did love I read a quote from you or something like that. It says, "Love is the only language we speak here." I really like that. So can you just tell us a little bit more about the platform?
Okay, so Ramblings began as essentially a poetry and music space. I was still in varsity at the time and I just kind of needed a space where I could vent and let out everything that I was feeling, and the best way I did that is through music and poetry. So I created Ramblings and I invited a couple of people to come through and watch me perform and watch me recite my poetry, and I realized that there was a couple of people who were interested. It was mainly the people for whom I had targeted Ramblings of a Black Queer Woman. So I had a couple of black people and queer women coming to me saying, "Hey, we want to be a part of the platform. How can we contribute to this? Can we also perform? How can we get onto the platform?" So it grew as that. So I started hosting more events around Cape Town under Ramblings of a Black Queer Woman, and it stopped being just about the music and poetry. But then we also incorporated conversations and we started talking about the things that are an issue in our community, like inter-community violence, and the fact that we as an LGBTQI plus people don't necessarily understand each other. And from there, it grew to craft markets where actually other artists, like fun artists, are able to exhibit their work. So it was just the music space that just keeps on growing into a more artistic space.
Very cool.
But in its essence, it's music.
Wow, it's beautiful.
And when did you start this?
I started in 2018.
Okay.
I think I was like 20 or something, and I was well on my way out of varsity. I made a decision, I'm leaving varsity, so I had to do something that's going to mean something and be the start of my music career, and I guess Ramblings is exactly what that was for me.
Wonderful. Tom, you got a question?
Yeah, but well, from what you've just said there, I've just really wanted to know where the importance of music came from for you. Has it always been something in your life? Why music? Why not art? Why? What was the thought?
It hasn't always been music. That's actually a really nice question. It hasn't always been music. My first love was actually dance. I was a ballerina, and for the longest time I danced and danced. And music fell into my lap because I wanted a leadership position in high school. And I thought, okay, if I join the school choir, it might add something to my resume and make this stronger. I didn't get the leadership position, but at the end of the year, I was basically elected as the head of choir, and I thought to myself, what the hell? And then shortly after, I was invited to join the jazz band and join as a lead singer and also join the school's vocal ensemble. And so I just really loved the feeling of performing with a live band on stage, and I couldn't let go. So I told myself, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And after that, nothing made sense. After high school, I just chased music with everything in me. And here I am.
Yeah, when it bites you, once it bites you, it's got a hold on you. Yeah.
Bit me hard.
Yeah. So here we talk about, we're bringing a movement, right? And it's really wonderful. A few weeks ago, we had the ambassador to South Africa. She was Mandela's ambassador, right? And she was on the show. And to hear her talk about the importance of music was really beautiful. She's not a musician, but the music is important, right? And I reeled off a couple of heroes from her country, Humasakena, and many others. But the thing about it, I love hearing this sister go, we need more of that.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's a lot of things you can write about in terms of your feelings and stuff like that. But when you're serving and you love to serve others, you're not writing about yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And it could be over the most incredible grooves ever. The beats could be, but it's what you pump in knowledge like that with melody and notes, right? And feeling. All that together, that's the most wonderful feeling about being on, performing in the stage and stuff like that, to look out at music lovers. And what's even better than that is when you see them sing your lyrics, something you sat at home and you wrote. Right? And they know your lyrics. That is the most beautiful feeling you could ever feel, right? So now, where do you get your inspiration from?
My inspiration is all over the place. I think just by existing, I look at what the world looks like for me. And I think from there, I draw a whole lot of inspiration, even from back home. Home for me is in the villages in the Eastern Cape. And those are the parts that when people talk about South Africa, they don't even care to mention, because it's like, okay, no, that's not a tourist site, it's a village. But those are my humble beginnings.
Wait a minute, why is that?
Politics are politics. People want to focus on the parts or the regions in particular countries that are fascinating. Like, for example, when you hear South Africa, you think Cape Town, and you think Table Mountain, and you think all of this beautiful fauna and flora. It's like, yay. But then there's another people that people don't talk about, and I think it's just the class of people that aren't necessarily had conversations about. People don't have conversations about people in the lower classes or the middle income classes. We always want to talk about what hits the high roofs. So I guess this is where I say these are my humble beginnings, and those are the beginnings that really inspire me to do the work that I do. I look at Black women from the Eastern Cape and I see how they've migrated from the rural areas into the city and how they've had to adjust. And seeing their story, seeing my story, that I was born and raised in two different worlds, born in the East and raised in the Western side of South Africa, which are two completely different worlds. But when you look at these stories between myself and people who have lived their entire lives in their villages, we have the same stories. So those are the things that really inspire me, looking at how the world looks and receives us as a people. Those are the things that inspire me, and the things that are supposed to break me down, the things that are supposed to hold me back, are the things that really push me to, I guess, to create the music that I create. And if there's one thing that I say this and I lead every time, it's with love. I lead every single thing that I do with love and intention. So I guess my inspiration through everything is how life is happening around me. I look at life, and however I perceive it, something comes out of it, and it comes out through music. So I guess that's my inspiration.
You said something really powerful. You said those people look at other classes of people from those neighborhoods you talk about, right? But there's the politics. You said the politics. Those people, they're in charge. They're in charge of everything. People. That's the crazy part to me. Let me ask you this: in the neighborhood that you're talking about, are there any musically talented people in those neighborhoods?
Too many. And it's not just musical.
What I'm saying is, we're not looking at your social background or your economics. There's talent there, and they won't never get a chance to be heard because somebody else, those people, those people are in charge of your class. And so this is what I love to do through Africa, because I've only been to two places. That's Ghana and Rwanda, right? But no matter where I went, there was talent. And it was mind blowing because I'm going, there's no record labels over here. You know what I mean? You don't have enough festivals for people to go out and see some music, right? And have a good time. So personally, I love to come see you perform over there.
I would love that. Personally, I'd love that too.
Exactly. Bring the crew over. But now check it out, because we want to come through South Africa. But we're looking for a specific thing. So as people are singing love songs, we're not looking for none of that. We're looking for and if you can do us a favor by keeping your eyes and ears open for young talent or just beautiful people that write socially conscious lyrical content, right? I'm looking for those people. So everything's just narrowed down for me now. And it's hard because for some people that write social conscious music, they understand that there's no outlet for it, right? So I'm just writing this for myself, basically, right? But if we gave them a place to go where they can buy it, where they can see it on TV, where you can go and to festivals, right? If we can come through there and keep your eyes and ears open. We can come through there and grab some talent, like some really amazing talent. Like I said, no cussing, no cussing, nothing like that, right? I'm not trying to go at people that write political or something that, hey, we still hurt. No, we need somebody who's going to talk about we're lifting ourselves up. Come along. You want to come with us? Right?
Yeah.
Lift the spirit and positivity. Bring those people to the concert. What's your feeling?
I say yes. I say absolutely yes. But then the one thing I want to say is music is political. Like no matter how much we avoid it, music is always political. Whether it's like actual politics, like with political parties, or it's just the way in which we feel about ourselves. We as a people are political people, and I think the way in which we exude ourselves into the world is all political. So I hear what you say. When you say not too political, but actually advocating for social change. I'm right there with you. And I think if we can bring those people together and we can, I guess this world will be a little bit of a better place. We can't change it every single day and all at once, but I know that with just one other person with an intention to change the world through their art, I think we've got a good place to start, and I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, and so I'm asking you, keep your eyes and ears open for some like really talented people that think social consciously with great beats and stuff like that, and they're great entertainers as well. And then when we get to come to South Africa, we can showcase them, right? But I do want to bring a a couple of other artists from other countries as well. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at South Africans, you're looking at people from Portugal, and I bring some other people with me. You know, that's what makes music for global change, because we can all be on the stage together, even though we might not be able to speak the same language. But when you start playing an instrument together, it becomes soup, right? So, what are you promoting right now?
So right now, I'm promoting my South African music nominated album. It's titled New Faces to Old Problems. And been nominated for a South African Music Award, which is like one of my first ones, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm promoting the album for that. I've started applying for funding and been trying to secure as much funding as I can to ensure that it happens not just nationally, and I'm hoping to take it on a global scale, but right now I'm focusing on the national tour. So that's what I'm busy planning right now. I'm also in the writing process of my second album, which is James the Narrative. And that's essentially a compilation of stories about growing up queer and navigating life, sexuality, spirituality as myself and as a young person, not being able to relate to any content in the entertainment industry. I couldn't relate with a whole lot of things, and I couldn't relate with the media and how the media portrayed queer people and black people. So that was, anyway, that's the inspiration behind James.
Wow.
Wow. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
I love it. Ryan, you got a question?
Yeah, I do. I listen to some of the music on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. I subscribed, by the way. I wanted to ask you about, I work a lot in social media. So as a musician and as an artist, I wanted to get your thoughts on like sort of the rise of TikTok and Instagram Reels and the importance of licensed music and music in on social media videos and stuff like that. I noticed that I feel like I saw a couple of your songs on TikTok, but they weren't licensed. I was just wanting to get your thoughts on. Do you find that it's an important factor in promoting yourself or marketing yourself?
Yeah, of course it is. I think, right now the biggest problem that a lot of artists are facing is either the fact that they aren't getting paid enough for their licensing, or that they just don't have the rights. They just don't have the rights to their music at all. And I think it's important that you have your music licensed on social media outlets like Facebook and Twitter and TikTok, because that's where everybody is, and that's how people start to get to know your songs and even get to a point where they license them and use them legally.
Right.
For myself, my music is licensed for TikTok, and when your music isn't licensed, it's a disadvantage to every artist out there. It's a disadvantage to the record labels and the artists themselves and everybody who's involved in the process of making that artist who's out there. So by having your music out there, I really think it's the best way to promote yourself, and it's the most legitimate way to earn some form of revenue through your music. So yeah, it's important. It's also important that people own their music and artists own their masters, but that's another conversation for another time.
So I can use your songs in my next TikTok.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
right.
I'm licensed to do that.
Thank you.
Right through.
It was really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're totally right about owning your own music. It's really important for you to let people know that you created that piece, right? Around the world. It's your intellectual property. My publisher, as soon as I finish a song, I send it to him, and I'm safe there because I know he's going to protect me, when it's playing around the world and you're not getting paid for it, that kind of thing. When you say national, did you mean South Africa?
Yes, the national tour. Yes, I'm in South Africa.
Now, you speak in several languages, I'm telling, right?
Yes. We have how many languages do we have in this country? We speak 11. I think they just added sign language as official, so it's about 12 now.
What?
We have 12.
11? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Dad, how many languages do you know?
I could barely speak one.
Yeah, wow. English is not my favorite one, I'll tell you that.
Oh, there's a lot of people who speak English. I know that's for real.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who speak English for sure.
I travel to several countries, and if I go to a country I can't speak their language, and maybe somebody can speak a little bit. What do you do? I say, I play music. They'll always take me to somebody that they know that plays music.
Yeah.
and a lot of them speak English, right? So I'm safe after that, right? It's like my cousin, my friends, come with me, man. I know some other musicians, right? And no, English is
Yeah.
a trip. Like my son is learning 4 languages right now. You
Not
know,
me.
Yeah.
Not me.
no, my baby boy, he's 14.
Not you.
Yeah, I do
The
not
other
know 4 languages.
side.
He's my oldest. He's
Yeah.
my oldest. Okay, but my baby boy, he's learning 4 languages. So beautiful. When he comes home, he'll speak some German. I go, I don't know what he's talking about, but he'll speak some. What are you talking about? Uh, if you get a chance, check out a song that I co-production on. It's called One World, and I'm singing it with this brother from Ghana, right? And he's singing in the language of Twi. I'm singing in English, but the groove is reggae. So I had a friend of mine go, "Hey, Skyler, what's that brother saying?" I said, "I don't know."
He's making
He said, "What's he
music.
saying?"
As long as he's making music.
And so I had to ask Friction one day. I said, "Friction, what are you saying?" He said, "I'm saying the same thing you saying in English." That's the cool thing.
Wow.
I
Wow.
never knew that, right? So music, it ain't for somebody. It's for everybody. Are you on platforms and stuff like that, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. How do you promote it?
All right, so on Instagram, I am at Bonga_Kwana. On Facebook, I'm Bonga Kwana. TikTok, which is TA_Bonga. Bonga Kwana everywhere. The best thing to do would be to Google me,
Yeah.
and you'll find me.
All right. Tom, you got a question?
Yeah, well, just actually dovetails rather nicely with what you just said there, Skylar. I've noticed from your details that we have for you that you've reached and exceeded 600,000 streams across all music platforms, including Apple Music. You seem to be certainly a truly international artist because you've also been invited to perform at the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland.
Hey.
Yeah.
Has that happened? Is that due to come? When's that happening?
That hasn't happened yet. It was supposed to happen last year, but due to
Right.
COVID and those restrictions, that fell right through. So we had to postpone it, and now we're still just waiting for the final communication on whether we're going to go through for the following year, which is next year's one. So
Gotcha.
didn't get the chance to go, but I
But you,
was so excited and so bummed out.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Have
good
you been
stuff.
there?
Have you ever
No,
been?
I haven't. No, no, would have been exciting for me, but hey,
It's so beautiful. I mean, I played there in 207, and and you go through this long tunnel before you get to it. Come out of the other side, right? And when you come out the other side, it's this huge festival right there, overlooking this lake. You know what I mean? It's magnificent. It's beautiful. You'll do it. Oh, wow, that's a great invite for somebody to invite you to come play.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom. Forgive me. I got excited
No,
about
that's all
you.
right. Presumably that's going to go ahead, as you say, hopefully next year for you. Have you got any other plans for things like that involve travelling? Is it something you're able to do? Or
I would love to. I mean, I've been planning a tour, a national tour, but due to funding and how that's been really difficult to get, and also I'm an independent and self-managed artist, so the hurdles are much bigger than somebody who's with a record label. So yeah, that's the only constraint, the actual funding. But I've been trying to do it. I've been planning and I've been applying, getting rejected, but still applying, nevertheless. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's on my that's on my board right now. A national tour in South Africa before I go out and I travel
yeah,
further.
fantastic.
Tell your friends to like fund me and you know,
Yes.
There we
All the
go.
time.
Yeah. Spread the word.
do that.
Definitely.
How much do you love to perform?
On a scale of 0 to 10, I'll give you 1,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a big number.
That's pretty
I
high.
heard that.
that's pretty high. It's my thing. I've done it all my life. I grew up on the stage. I think I was like 7 years old when I first performed. So
Wow.
yeah, no, I'll never stop performing. It's the love of my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and then when people get pumped up while you performing, that make you go even further, right? You start the
It drives me
energy
crazy.
level go through the roof and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the best feeling in the world, and it's how I started out actually before I started recording.
yeah.
I was on stage and dancing and all kinds of stuff like that. But for a long time I was doing other people's music. They call it top 40 music, right? So I was singing at
Cover
the club,
songs.
singing, yeah, top 40. I was doing, in top 40 bands all my life. But then at some point, you got to go to yourself, how long do I want to do this? How much do I want to be 20 feet in the back?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the only way you're going to get there is you're going to have to come up with some of your own lyrics.
You're gonna have to write your own music, come up with your own melodies, put your own spin on things,
That's
reinterpret
right.
things completely differently. And you're just gonna try to not replicate what somebody has done, but try to be as true to yourself as potentially possible, while drawing inspiration from somebody else's work. It's a tricky one, but it's doable.
It's true though,
Yeah.
for years and years and years, I was playing hotels, whatever, 6 nights a week, right? 3 hours a night. And I did that for years and years and years, but I'm doing somebody else's music. But I can still make a living though, you know what I mean? I was surviving doing somebody else's music, but if you really want to go to the next level, you're going to have to break off. Now, we have some signatures from our body that is like a patented imprint. That's your fingerprints, right? And your vocal sound, right? And I can prove to you because you could call me tomorrow on the phone and I'm not looking at you. Hey, what's going on, Bonga? Right? That's true, right?
Yeah.
We all
Yeah,
have
for
we
sure.
all have our own vocal tone, and so
That's actually really true.
if yeah, I'm a vocal producer. I do this for a living. I talk about this stuff, right? So if you're out there studying other people and trying to get their tone, what for? You just want to do gigs every night, or do you want to get up on a major stage doing your own music? And it all comes to you. You go, okay, I've had enough of that. I want somebody to know who I am now, right?
Yeah.
As a musician and your own sound. But like I said, your vocal tone, don't study somebody else. And you don't have to have a huge wide range and all that. If you look at Sade, she doesn't have a big
Yeah.
range, right? But you know her vocal tone. So you could
And you just know
you
when
can
the song
admit
goes on that it's Sade. Yeah.
that you already know. She could just sing with a guitar or with a piano or a whole band. You know her sound. So what I teach singers is study your own sound, and let's find the best stories that we can for you because singing is acting too, right? If you're singing a song for 5 minutes, you're trying to make people believe that this I'm singing to you for the first time.
Yeah.
That's what they paying for when they come out. That's my song. I want to go. I'm gotta go check out Bonga. What? Just let her ass sing it because they know it came from you and they resonated with it and stuck with them.
Yeah.
Now you put your vocal tone on top of that and convince them. See? So you say you got a new record coming out.
Yeah. Working on a new album titled James the Narrative. I have a feeling I'm going to release it next year or the following year because I think I still want to do a whole lot more groundwork with New Faces to Old Problems. It got much bigger and better recognition in South Africa than I expected, which was the South African Music Award nomination. And I think I should do a bit more groundwork on that. But I'm really excited for this part of the creation process of the album because I'm writing a lot. And right now I've penned down 5 songs. I'm working with this really cool producer. His name is Simbad and he's from France. And I've also been working with somebody else, Daniel Kuzari, and his friends. And it's been spectacular. I think I've got like 5 songs down. And I'm just taking it as easily and as smoothly while also trying to embrace new faces to old problems in the best way that I can. Because I released that one in October last year. So I really want to give it its time to just do its thing in the industry before I come in hard with my second body of work.
Yeah. You know, the other concept I had with Music for Global Change was to introduce you to maybe an American producer or British producer or my friends around the world and have you collaborate. Are you open to doing that?
I'm hoping to. I'm open to music. I'm open to working. I'm open to art. So you bring that to me, and I'm open any day.
But the cool thing is, like, I look at like, okay, so if I write with this guy, he's the biggest producer in Switzerland. Well, he's going to go play it for his audience, right? Yeah, he's my new friend Skyler, right? And I do the same. It's my friend in Switzerland. That's opening up music for global change because we are, you got these kind of platforms here. I've written about 30 songs like this alone, right?
Yeah.
With other people from different countries. So I know it works. And the cool thing about it is breaks down barriers, right? Because it's music. How does it feel? Did you enjoy it? Right? That's all it comes down to. What's your feelings on that?
My feelings are I'm in.
Huh?
I'm in. I'm in. Honestly, like with music, if you play my song wherever you are, somebody gets to hear me, and that'll be somebody who's never even heard of me before. The same way that when I played here, the people who know me here are gonna be like, "Oh, who the hell is Skyler?" And then that's how we then encourage social cohesion. That's how we diversify our products, and we find our songs even on TV series and stuff. So when I say my feeling is I'm in, it's that the more we do this, the bigger the bigger this gets. The more we interact and we, I guess, collaborate, the bigger the impact of collaboration, and we get to make music for global change. So
you just proved my point because you said you're writing with somebody from France, right?
Yeah.
That's you're already doing it, right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, music is for everybody. That's what I'm saying. So I've seen like, I don't know, 12 musicians from different countries playing together. And I thought that was the most beautiful thing to me because I'm like, they don't live close to each other. They're not from the same culture or the background. But that song sounded beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to do some writing too. You and I, we need to bust one out to the world. You know what I mean?
You know what to do, or I'm gonna do it first. I'm gonna knock on your door first if you don't come to me first. So either way, I'm knocking on a door.
I can dig it. Ryan, you got a question?
Yeah, I've got one last question. So I saw on your Instagram a post recently that said, "Be brave enough to suck at something new," and I thought it was a really cool, saying. And I was just wondering what that meant to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's my season of new beginnings. I moved from one city to the other. I moved from Cape Town to Johannesburg, and it's my new season. It's a new start. Completely uncomfortable. I have never lived anywhere outside of Cape Town, so this for me is a new one. And if I suck at Joburg, then well, I will be sucking at something new because this is a new environment and nothing is familiar except for like 5 faces. And then that's it. Because I only come down, I used to only come up to Joburg for a gig or work, and then I'm out. So it'd be like for a particular time frame, and then I'm gone. Now I live here permanently. And it's new waters, new grounds. It's much more competitive out here. It's harder out here. But hey, it's something new, and it's a challenge I'm so keen to embrace. And if I suck at it, I'm excited to suck at it.
That's right.
And find a way out. Yeah,
God,
give it a shot.
I'm excited to. I'd love to do a festival there, right, with you and some of your friends and the really talented people, and then bring some, like I said, bring some other artists from a couple other places, right, and do a festival around positivity and what I mean. South Africa just sounds magical, in terms of that. And like I said, they need more labels. They need some labels. You got to get the songs out. You can't just putting up online doesn't do anything. I mean, you got it there. That's your store, okay?
You gotta have people back for you.
Right. Yeah, but you still got to go out and promote and find fan base and all. That's another job, right? That's like taking one cap off and putting another one on. Until you can get somebody to do that for you, right? Well, they just concentrate on that. But if 600,000 people that latched on to you, that's coming pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. Ben, Tom, you got another question for her?
Yeah, well, a couple. I mean, firstly, just a quick one, really. I've read from your details that you are the co-creator in a storytelling session with Zulani
Yes.
Mahola and Yo-Yo Ma. So tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that, please.
On this one day, just before the COVID lockdown in South Africa just kind of hit off, I got an invite from Zolani Mahola, and they were hosting a storytelling session with Yo-Yo Ma. And he's a French cellist. I think a lot of people know him, but he was in South Africa for a while, and he was doing these sessions with Zolani, and where they were talking about music and the impact of music and the impact of art and creation of art within the South African communities, and how basically they were telling all these stories about who we are as an African people and how we've basically embarked as artists to use our voices for social change. So that was what that was about, and I got the opportunity to recite one of my poems that I wrote about mental health, and which is something that is a big, well, mental illness, in fact, it's a big epidemic in South Africa, it's a big epidemic globally, and we aren't talking about it enough. So that was one of the things that we spoke about and we tackled in that storytelling session. But yeah, it was just a moment where we got to share and hear each other's voices. Some people were singing, some shared poetry like myself, and some did the combination. Yo-Yo Ma was also there to perform, and at the end of it all, Zolani and Yo-Yo Ma had a concert at Kirsten Busch Gardens, and it was one of the most sensational things I've ever had the privilege of experiencing. So yeah, that's what that was
Wonderful.
about.
Fantastic. The other thing really to mention is what's next for you. What's other than obviously you're just releasing your album now. Have you got other albums in mind to produce? Have you got things just waiting in the background?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now I'm trying my best to just settle into Johannesburg and get into the rhythm of Johannesburg by getting more gigs out there. So I'm basically in the planning process of that, and I'll be releasing my tour guide pretty soon as soon as I've confirmed those dates. But my biggest thing is definitely the album tour, the national album tour that I'm planning. That's just one of the things that are really close to my heart. I'm doing my best to promote new faces to old problems. So that's the groundwork that I'm doing, even in Johannesburg, just trying to get a whole lot of people to, hey, yo, I'm Bonga, let's do this. Hey, yeah. So that's that's the process that I'm embarking on right now, doing the groundwork, because, as an independent artist, there's no one in my office doing something for me and writing stuff up for me. I've got to do the groundwork. I've got to be the singer, the manager, and the everything in between. So that's the exciting thing for me right now, working the ground in Johannesburg. So yeah, that's what's up.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste, sister.
We want to say thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your opinions with us and your music. And like I said, we're going to drive people there too, as well. And please do that for music. Like I said, when you see young people that are writing beautiful social conscious music, take note of them, because I want to grow it. I want everybody to see that there are people are writing socially conscious music, right? So all the best to you. Yes, all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.